morning, students. So in the last class, we ended up with your first chapter, that is power sharing. Today, we'll start with our new chapter, that is chapter number 2, federalism. Okay. Now, in the last class, if you remember, we have studied about power sharing among different organs of the government. Then power sharing among different levels of the government, then power sharing amongst different social groups, religious group, linguistic groups, and then power sharing amongst political parties, pressure groups, etc. Right? Here we will focus on the different levels of the government. Now the power sharing, basically within a democracy, there is a vertical division of power. Why it is vertical? Because you have on top, you have the central government, then you have the state government, right? And then you have further the local governments. So that is, it comes in a vertical way of structure. So that is why it is known as a vertical division of power sharing, which takes place among different levels of the government. So this chapter focuses on this form of power sharing, which is known as federalism. Now, if you remember, we studied about Belgium and Sri Lanka, where in Belgium, you must remember rather, in Belgium, the power of the central government was divided. And when it gets divided, it means that the power of the central government gets reduced as well. And those powers were given to the regional governments, that is the state governments. Further, in 1993, what happened was that the regional governments were given the constitutional powers directly from the constitution, that they were no longer dependent on the central government. These powers were given in order to make them independent of the central government. And that is how they shifted from a unitary government to a federal government. So what is a unitary government and what is a federal form of government is what we are going to study further. Let's move ahead. Federalism. What is federalism? Now, federalism is a system of government in which the power is divided between a central authority and the various units of the country. Okay, the central authority, the central government, various units, the various states. Okay, the power gets divided between these two. Now, federation has two levels of government. Number one is your national government and next is your state government. If you see here, the national government is a government for the entire country, and that is why it is complete. It is as a whole. And here if you see the state government, it is different. It is not as a whole. It is different from each other, and moreover, it is scattered, which means as many states, as many governments. That is your state governments. But national government is one. Okay? Whereas there are many state governments. Because states are many, but you have just one country, one nation, that is India, which is having one government. Okay? At the national level. So one is the government for the entire country, which is usually responsible for a few subjects of common national interest. It represents the interest of the nation. So all those things that falls within the interest of the nation, for those subjects, national government is responsible. Okay? The other government, this is the government at the level of the province or the states. So this will look after much of the day-to-day administering of the state. Both these levels of governments, they enjoy the power independent of each other. Okay? I hope it is clear till here what is federalism and how it works. Now, if in this sense you move ahead, then you will understand the difference between federal government and unitary government. Now, what is a unitary government? In unitary government, there is only one level of government. Just one level. It is not divided as national and state. One level government. That is your central government. This central government can pass orders to the state government. Okay? Further, these one level of government, which means that subunits, that is your states, they are subordinate to the central government. They are under the central government. They become subordinate, which means the central government becomes a supreme power. Okay? Now, what is the example? If you see the examples of unitary government, United Kingdom, there is only one supreme power, right? Come to the federal government. In federal government, there are two or more levels of government. The central government cannot order the state government to do something, whereas in unitary government, the central government can pass orders to state government. In federal government, state government has power of its own for which it is not answerable to the central government, because in federal government, many of the state units have such powers that they are completely independent in that respect, such as to maintain law and order. That is a total aspect of the state government. Now, if it needs an assistance, it may ask the central government. Okay, so there are certain areas which is divided between the central government and divided between the state government, and that is what I have tried to explain you here. Here will be the areas of national interest, whereas here there will be the areas of day-to-day administration. That is how the power gets divided. Okay, let's move ahead. So if you, let me give you the example here. If you have to look for a federal government example, United States of America, you have Australia, you have India as well, but not completely. And once you finish this chapter, you will get to know why. India is a federal government, but it is unitary in spirit. And once we finish this chapter, we will discuss upon it in detail, how it is. Now, come to the features of federalism. What are the features of federalism? As far as features of federalism is concerned, number one, there are two or more levels of government. Already explained you, right? Then you have different tiers of government. They govern the same citizen, but each tier has its own jurisdiction in matters of legislation, taxation, administration. There are different tiers of government, but they govern, but each tier has its own jurisdiction. First of all, what is jurisdiction? It is given very much in your book. The area over which someone has a legal authority. It's jurisdiction, right? So it is something related to the word legal, judiciary maybe. So the area over which someone has a legal authority. The area may be defined in terms of geographical or in certain kinds of subjects. That is what is jurisdiction. Now, if you see what are the tiers of government, the three tiers of government, central government, state government, and then you have the local government, about which you will study in the later chapter. So there are different tiers of government, and they all are governing the same citizen. Central government also governs you, right? You are governed with the central government also and your state government also, but they have their own areas of legislation. Let me explain you with a present example. The central government is headed by the head of your central government at present is Prime Minister Narendra Modi, right? Okay. Whereas the head of the state government is Chief Minister Mr. Nitish Kumar, and there you have Mr. Narendra Modi. So both have same citizens. Okay. They are governing same citizen, but at different levels. Okay. That is, they in matters of legislation, taxation, administration, what law is passed in the center, who governs you? and therefore you are governed on the terms of administration by your state government also. So that is how they have different tiers of government, govern the same citizen, but they have their own jurisdiction, their own areas. Okay? All right. So I'll stop here for the day. Revise till here. Do your assignment, students, and let me know if you face any problem. Okay? Thank you, students.